What if one silent arrival could reopen emotions no one wanted to face? What if a place chosen by coincidence became the stage for an unplanned emotional collision? And what if Yaman found himself trapped in a moment he never intended to create? Today on Magazine News and Gossip, we are carefully reconstructing a story that unfolded without cameras, without headlines, and without warnings. A story that began quietly in Spain, but left emotional echoes that still haven't faded. This is not about scandal. This is about timing, unspoken boundaries, and the weight of the past. Before we begin, subscribe now and turn on notifications if you want to understand celebrity stories without attacks, without judgment, and without exaggeration. This channel exists to tell what happens between the lines. Sara Bluma's arrival in Spain was not a media move. There were no staged photos, no strategic interviews, no calculated leaks. Her presence went almost unnoticed, and in the world of fame, silence is often louder than noise. Spain at that moment was not just another destination. It was emotionally charged ground, a place where unfinished stories, unresolved feelings, and unspoken decisions quietly coexisted. That night, in a small social setting, without official cameras or prepared narratives, something happened that no one had planned. According to consistent accounts from people who were present, Demet Özdemir was also there. There was no formal meeting, no introductions, no direct conversation, nothing visible enough to become a headline. Yet something far more powerful occurred. A shared awareness. A sudden realization that this coincidence was uncomfortable for everyone involved. Brief glances crossed the room. Gestures were restrained. Silences felt heavier than usual. And most importantly, this situation was never part of Yaman's intentions. If this story already has your attention, like this video now. It helps us continue sharing these stories with balance rather than cheap sensationalism. Afterward, many wondered if this was simply a coincidence. But those who understand how emotional environments work know that coincidences involving unresolved feelings are rarely simple. This wasn't about a place or a single night. It was about emotional context. And this is where the story truly begins to shift. Days later, a sentence attributed to Yaman began circulating quietly, almost cautiously, as if everyone understood its emotional weight. It wasn't accusatory. It didn't blame anyone, but it made one thing very clear. This situation should never have existed. If you've made it this far, leave a comment to let us know you want part 2. What seemed like a silent arrival ended up opening an emotional door no one wanted to walk through again. In part 2, we analyze the full meaning behind Yaman's words. Why did he say he never wanted to put Demet in that situation? And how did that single sentence change the interpretation of everything that happened? Because sometimes what matters most is not what happens, but what someone chooses to say afterward. After that night in Spain, when the encounter had already occurred and silence seemed to close the chapter, the sentence continued to circulate with extreme care. It was not a public statement, not a headline. It was a reflection shared through a very close circle. I never wanted them to meet. I would never have wanted to put Demet in a situation like that. The sentence did not accuse. It did not attack, but it carried undeniable meaning. When someone says they did not want to put another person in a situation, they are acknowledging emotional weight, discomfort, a burden that should not have been placed on that person. And here, the narrative changed completely. Until that moment, many believed everything had been a social coincidence. A night, a place, nothing more. But that sentence introduced a new perspective. Protection. Protection of Demet. But from what? If this story is making you think deeper than expected, like the video now, it helps this kind of balanced storytelling reach more people. There is no confirmation of a direct conflict between Demet Özdemir and Sara Bluma. No public argument. No visible tension. No exchanged statements. But emotions do not always operate through visible proof. Sometimes they exist in prolonged silence, in careful decisions, in actions taken to avoid greater discomfort. And that is exactly what this sentence suggests. It speaks not of jealousy or rivalry, but of emotional boundaries. Boundaries discussed privately, not publicly. For some viewers, Yaman's words represented respect. Respect for a past story. Respect for a person no longer part of the present, but still holding emotional significance. For others, it confirmed that not all chapters were fully closed. And this is where the story becomes deeply human. No one involved sought exposure. No one chased headlines. No one rushed to explain anything publicly. Everything unfolded in private. If you're still watching, comment below so we know you want the full conclusion. Subscribe now and turn on notifications because part 3 connects everything. That sentence did not close the story. It opened a conversation no one expected to exist. A phone call. No cameras. No public witnesses. But very real emotional consequences. Some conversations are never recorded, but they change how everything is understood afterward. After the sentence began circulating, many believed the story would fade into silence, distance, time. But according to multiple consistent sources close to the situation, a phone call took place between Yaman and Sara Bluma shortly after Spain. It was not impulsive. It was not immediate. It happened once emotions had settled, which made it even more uncomfortable. There were no raised voices. No aggressive arguments. It was a serious conversation, the kind where difficult truths are finally spoken. They discussed boundaries, unspoken expectations, situations that were never intentional, but still affected people who should not have been involved. And Demet's name appeared not as conflict, but as care. If you've stayed with us until now, like this video. These stories only work when thoughtful storytelling is valued. According to these accounts, Yaman made one thing clear during that call. It was never his intention for Demet Özdemir to be placed in an uncomfortable or ambiguous situation. Not because of the past. Not because of public opinion. But because of respect. And that distinction matters. This is not about triangles or rivalries. It is about emotional responsibility. Demet, for her part, did not react publicly. She made no statements. No gestures. And in the entertainment world, silence is also a choice. Was that silence a way to close the chapter? Or a way to protect something private? If you appreciate this kind of human-centered analysis, subscribe now and activate notifications so you don't miss what comes next. This story is not about sides or blame. It is about real people navigating real emotions in situations that become public unintentionally. Spain was only the setting. What truly mattered happened away from cameras, in private decisions and meaningful silences. That is why magazine news and gossip tells these stories with respect, balance, and care. If you reach the end, thank you for staying. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and remember that those who support magazine news and gossip receive early access, exclusive content, and the chance to suggest future topics.